So hello and welcome. I've got a few minutes here with Steve Kaiser today. He is one of our state representatives for Legislative District 15. Now for the current session, what is it, session 55, I think I heard?
55th legislature, yep.
55th legislature. Okay, good morning, Steve, and welcome.
Hey, good morning, Tom. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yep, so Steve's also not only is he a freshman in the legislature, he's already been appointed as the vice chair for the Commerce Committee. So I'd love to hear his perspective on your perspective, Steve, on what's in the pipeline for this session.
Yeah, thank you.
From a commerce perspective.
Yeah, from the Commerce Committee perspective, it's going to be a very busy committee this year, this legislative session, because they combined a lot of previous committees like banking and insurance, regulatory reform. All of that is now rolled into the Commerce Committee for this legislative session. So it's going to be a very busy committee. Anything you can imagine that's going to touch business is going to come through there, except tax policy. That's the Ways and Means Committee. But I'm also on that, so happy to talk tax policy later, because there's going to be a lot of big tax stuff, it seems like, this year too. But as far as commerce, similar to other committees, the name of the game is going to be getting through all the COVID casualty bills that did not make their way through last time because session ended so abruptly. And these are important bills that our neighbors need, and important changes to laws to make things better for consumers. We're also going to be looking at the liability protection for businesses, so that's going to be huge. And then this year, there's going to be a lot of talk about liquor. So do you remember when the restaurants did the to-go beer and wine? And there's a lot of discussion around that. So that's going to come back up.
Okay, good.
And then there's also going to be a lot of discussion around gaming this year, because the compact needs to be updated and renewed. So there's going to be a lot of discussion around gaming as well.
Okay. Wonderful. If I remember right, that was like Series 6 and Series 7 licenses and all that conversation.
Several of 9 and 12 also.
Yep, who's allowed to stay open, who can serve, and all that fun stuff. So, wow, so you got your hands full. Okay, wonderful. And can you recap again one more time? A lot of things have rolled into the Commerce Committee. I want to make sure I got that clear.
So banking and insurance is now part of commerce. So we do have quite a few insurance bills going through, and then also regulatory reform. So any kind of regulations and oversights on business is now going to be part of commerce also. Okay. We did not hold a meeting this week. Several of the committees did not hold meetings this week, but we're starting next week. And I think we have 10 bills on the schedule for next week. And so that'll be, we're going to start moving and shaking because we've got a lot to go through. And there's always the fear that something could end the session, or that we do have protocols in place so that if a member comes down positive with COVID, they can still do some things from home. So it's not going to shut down the session. But those are the kind of things you got to be careful of, because if you have enough members go down with COVID, then you do a lot of remote issues that come up. So
quorums for voting and all kinds of fun things. So, yeah. Okay. That sounds like it's actually really good news that those other committees had rolled into commerce. I can think right now off the top of my head, we have several chamber members, and we certainly have a whole business community here in North Phoenix in the banking industry and in the insurance industry. So again, we're not a political chamber. We stay neutral on all of this stuff, except we are pro-business, and we're going to be helping keep an eye on those projects that are coming along the pipeline that could be affecting either positively or negatively our business owners in the community. So thank you for that update, Steve. That's going to give us something to continue to reach out to the community and carry the message out for you.
I think one really important thing for everybody to know too is to identify who your representatives are, because there's an amazing service that they can provide through Constituent Services. Even before I was sworn in, we were able to utilize that service, and we were able to help people with DES, unemployment issues, things like that. So if anyone in the chamber is struggling with a state agency, which I know never happens, right? It's always smooth sailing, no log jams ever.
Right.
But if you ever get stuck, don't hesitate to reach out. You can reach out directly to me. If you want a tour of the Capitol, let's set that up. If you're not sure who your member is, I can introduce you to them. We can find out who they are. because North Phoenix Chamber covers several LDs. So I'd be happy to be the conduit.
We have 3 of them. We have Legislative District 15, 20, and 28.
Oh, great.
Right. So it's 2 representatives and 1 senator at the state level in each of those LDs. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
So there are 9 of 8, you and 8 of your peers are representing the chamber space.
And you've got a pretty healthy 50-50 mix of Republicans and Democrats in that,
Yes.
in those 3 districts. So
yes. Yeah, this is going to be a good year. I'm excited for where we're heading this year with this.
And I can tell you from a constituent services standpoint, email the members individually. Don't do a group email. And then don't worry about if you're a Republican, I can't reach out to a Democratic member. It's not the case.
Right.
We serve everybody. So don't worry about party affiliation. Just reach out with what you need help with.
Okay. That's good. That's good advice as well. Thank you for that.
Participation from the public this year is going to be a little bit different. There's actually a double chain link fence around the entire Capitol compound right now, which is really sad. And that's because of all this, the things that are happening. But you can still participate, and that's important to know, even virtually. So if you're not comfortable coming down to the Capitol, you can log in. So I would encourage people to go to azleg.gov and look for the request to speak section.
Okay.
So you can sign in for and against the bill. You can write comments, and those all get read in the committees. So, and you will be part of the official record. So
Okay.
I would encourage you to look at the agendas, dig into the bill numbers. It's relatively easy to read, but it can be confusing. But you can still get involved, and I would highly encourage that.
Okay. And just a really quick plug then as well, hopefully this still happens. We are scheduled right now for April 6th, 2021 for Chamber Day down at the Capitol, and we have the Rose Garden reserved. So hopefully that double chain link fence is missing by April 6th, and or chamber members are somehow vetted into this to the point that we can get in and actually come down for a Chamber Day. And then
I know a guy, I'll get you in.
Okay, wonderful. And I know that at the state level as well, the Arizona Chamber Executives, ACE, is an organization that I belong to that probably has several chamber days scheduled for that audience, and not for our members, but for the chamber leadership throughout the state. So this is going to be a great year to get engaged. This is definitely the year to get engaged. Regardless of your political affiliation, regardless of your party and political beliefs. As I continue to hear from one of my chamber members, a good bill is a good bill, regardless of who is sponsoring it and regardless of which party is affiliated. There's always work to get done, and there's always, especially at the state legislative level, a lot of those political boundaries are broken down, and people actually, not that it's broken, I didn't mean the system's broken, I mean those boundaries are cleared out of the way in many cases, and a lot of things really get done regardless of which side of the aisle you're on. So it's really encouraging to hear that, and I can't wait to see that process this year and be a little bit involved in it.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, it's not, once you get into it, you'll realize how easy it is to participate. It's not intimidating at all, and that participation is very much welcomed, and it's influential too. So
Yep. Do you encourage folks to reach out to the legislators directly, or do they have staffers as kind of liaisons to help manage your calendar and filter all that? How does that work?
Yeah, we do have assistants. Justin and I from LD15 share the same assistant, and they have access to our emails. But what happens, I would recommend emailing directly to the legislator and saying, you live in the district and you have an issue you need help with, and then we can go from there. Sometimes the member will respond right back, or the member will talk to the assistant, and the assistant will get you connected to Constituent Services. So azleg.gov also has all of our email addresses. You can just click right on a hyperlink, and you can start the email process that way. So
wonderful. That's easy.
Yeah.
And I will include that on the chamber website, and I'll actually filter that down to our 3 legislative districts.
That's a great idea.
We'll make that easier as well. So, okay, Steve, any other final thoughts before we wrap up this call? It sounds like you've covered quite a bit for us. I appreciate your time today.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to be here. And I think the governor released his proposed budget today. So there's gonna be a lot of budget information coming up these next few weeks. So happy to talk more about that as well. I'm on the appropriations committee as well. So we'll be in charge of appropriating all that state general fund revenue. So
Oh my gosh, you dove in with all 3 feet.
and ankle booties. Yeah.
You're fully in. That's awesome. And committed. That's incredible. Thank you.
Use us as a resource. You know what I mean? Use your members as a resource.
Yep.
That'd be my final thought for sure.
Okay. Alrighty. Wonderful.
Thank you
you,
so
sir.
much.
Appreciate
Thanks
your
for all you
time.
do.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Bye-bye.